So, you all mind if I, turn chat into my personal therapist for a moment? So, my dad was an awful piece of shit who did many awful things. But I'm not gonna tell you about the awful things he did. I'm gonna tell you about one of the more funny, awful things he did. Because that's gonna make much more of a less awkward, more entertaining story. So, here's the thing. My dad was a gamer. So he like a lot of the old games, like the reason I was able to play Baldur's Gate 1 in the first place is because it was like in a collection of like he had like these large like plastic tubs filled like with old CD games. And like we would be able to play them, but as time goes on, my dad was very much of an elitist gatekeeping gamer. Very much of the boomer variety. Like if it wasn't an RPG, and like if either an RPG or real-time strategy, it was automatically just a bad game. Like first-person shooters, terrible. Every first-person shooter, terrible. Every platform game, terrible. All of them. He was a hardcore gatekeeper person. He was one of those people, you know, one of those people that says that The Witcher 3 is like the best video game ever and you can never criticize it. Yeah, one of those. So, here's the thing. I don't really like The Witcher 3, and I'm not sure if that's because I associate my dad with it. It could be, which is unfortunate because then I wouldn't be giving The Witcher 3 a fair shake, but I generally have some problems with The Witcher 3. Like, my dad also hated Dark Souls 2, which was something that I really resented him for. He was just like, "Oh, Dark Souls isn't actually that good of a game. It doesn't even have a story. It doesn't have a plot. It's just mindless violence." And like, I'm going to fucking strangle you. So, this was actually the point I confronted him about. Being like, no, Dark Souls does have a good story. It is a great story, and it was just like, oh, but it's not as good as The Witcher 3. Have you ever tried playing the Bloody Baron? Now, here's something that's I have to put on my dad. He was an emotionally manipulative little shit. Like, he couldn't just ask you to do things, he always had to do the puppy eyes. He always had to do puppy eyes whenever he was trying to convince you. He always had to just say everything in the most dramatic, sad, oh, woe is me way possible. It was exhausting to deal with. But it's funny now because we are talking about video game stories and he is trying to pity bait me into thinking that The Witcher 3 story is better than Dark Souls' story. And he's just like, oh, but have you seen the Bloody Baron quest? It's so sad. It's so sad. So, I didn't play much of the Witcher 3. I only got to about as far as killing the did I get as far as killing the Griffin? I don't remember. But still. I played the Bloody Baron quest. And, I'm going to get a lot of people really mad, but I did not like the Bloody Baron quest. Like, I found the Bloody Baron himself to be absolutely dislikable. I found him to be an irresponsible jerk who was a self-pitying asshole who deserved all the bad things that were coming his way. I think The Witcher 3 is better than Dark Souls bleeding eyes. Exactly! Exactly! That is exactly what he did. And like, so the plot of like the Bloody Baron questline is the Bloody Baron is like this nobility guy whose wife and kids left him, and he's a drunk, and he's generally just a horrible, awful person, but like, oh, I'm just so misunderstood. I'm so sad because my wife and kids left me. Oh, and like, I just could not stand the guy. I talked to one of my friends who did actually like The Witcher 3, and it was just like, wait, he seriously said the Bloody Baron was the saddest quest? I mean, there's like a bunch better quests than the Bloody Baron, so like, I know a lot of people online do like the Bloody Baron quest, but I don't know. He said that, my friend who did like The Witcher 3 did beat it, said there was a bunch of quests better than that. So, could there be a reason that a garbage person finds that plotline so sad? I don't know, Tails. Could it be that the person who drove my mother away when I was 6 and had my brother leave the house as soon as he could find that plotline so sad? I don't know, Tails. I don't know. I don't know, Tails. Hey, I said there could be. I wasn't asking, I knew. Yeah. Yeah. I'm still losing it over fucking Puppy Eye. Please like my game better. He did that with everything. Like, he couldn't just, like, he could never just turn off the puppy eyes whenever he was talking about something. He was just like, oh, Mana, could you please do the dishes? Please do the dishes. Like, every time. Every goddamn time. He could never just ask you to do anything. Always the puppy eyes, and it was exhausting emotionally. Putting up with it all these years was just completely insufferable. But you're right, Tails. It is very funny in retrospect.